Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar. So, your friend has $1,000 burning a hole in their pocket, and they come to you and say, "Hey, I want to get into watches. Can you help me find some watches for $1,000? And they say, "Hey, I'd like to get a dress watch." I don't know why. You should probably steer your friend into a better direction. And a sports watch. Now we're talking Casey's language. In this episode, we will discuss our recommendations to this fictitious friend for 2 watches under $1,000. Naturally, this is a fictitious friend because obviously we don't have friends outside of this podcast. I also apologize for the format of this video. It is going to be a little different than most. We had some technical difficulties. This is just how this one's going to be. We apologize, and hopefully next time we will square ourselves away and come back with a quality uniform product. I'd also like to, again, remind everyone to share their drink and wristwatch checks by hashtagging the Spring Bar Podcast. Remember, the drinks don't have to be alcoholic, but you absolutely have to be fun. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Casey, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, the Swamp Thing, Florida Mike, and some wino named Joe in the OC. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Good, Casey. How you doing? Joe, how are you?
Not so wino. Not today. Not today.
Your
at
venue
work.
has changed.
Yes. I have much more space. So
Is this your kingdom?
this is my kingdom. Yes, my little fiefdom.
This is where you reign?
I am master of my domain here. Yes. So
Are you really, or do they just let you feel like you are?
well, nobody really knows where I am or what I do, so it works out okay. I feel comfortable.
Fair
I
enough.
think music teachers can do that. They're the teacher that slips under the radar.
Yeah. Anybody that
You know,
comes in and watches, it's fantastic. They go, it's like, oh look, everybody's playing stuff. That's great. They don't know if it's good. It's great.
Being friends with you is kind of cool because when you're a kid and you're growing up, even in middle school or high school, you always want to know what the life of a teacher, like what it's behind the scenes kind of thing is like. And here we get to live it now.
Well, I know that there's friends of mine that they've grabbed their children or their students, and so they bring them behind the desk. It's like, look behind the desk. Do you see like a plug? No, I have a life. I don't exist just here. And the kids are all like, what?
You're the man who's at work on the weekend right now.
Yeah. Well,
I know, right?
that's because I have too many kids in my house, so I got to do something.
Oh, goodness, you're surrounded by children.
It's the
So
life.
hey, so for those that are watching, we have Spring Bar Podcast shirts. We're uniformed.
Oh, hi, dog. Go away, dog.
So my girlfriend had these made for us. She actually surprised me with it. They showed up at the door one day. 3 shirts, 2 of which were very crooked. So they had to be reprinted. The new reprints showed up, which were very crooked in the other direction.
Oh. Who did y'all use?
So, well, I'll say this. I'm not going to say the name of who it was because they were very good. Their customer service was phenomenal. I will say that. They had no problems with redoing it, gave us no issues, no hassles. Remade the shirt, sent them out within 2 or 3 days. I mean, they hit my doorstep within that time frame. But the problem was they just kept coming crooked. The printing is phenomenal on them, but they were just off. And even when I had the shirts reprinted, they came in a different size. Like the larges were 2 different size larges. One was a ½ inch smaller than the ones that came previous. It was a mess. So we changed brands of shirts, had all 3 redone again, and they came out real nice. So that's what we're ended up with. So, but long story short, after my daughter got one and my girlfriend got one, we now have 2 spare large
Ooh.
Spring Bar Podcast T-shirts that maybe we'll have to do a giveaway with.
Wait. Are
Completely
you telling
custom.
me these are misprint ones? Oh,
One of one. One
there
of one.
we go. This is
So,
Spring
yeah,
Bar
so-
history.
Unique.
So for those again that are watching, the shirt that I'm wearing is actually one of the misprinted shirts. And if I'm trying to square myself on camera, here's the center of the logo, but it's not in the center of my neck. So you can see that's the kind of issues that we were dealing with.
As opposed to the perfect symmetry that my shirt presents.
Exactly. So I mean, they're not horrible, but if you look at it long enough,
you know you want
be,
one.
you'll be able
So,
to tell.
Contest.
It's like-
contest forthcoming.
Look, it's like somebody had a beer while listening to our show and printing our shirts.
Yeah, I was so excited. I had to go out and film that little fashion thing. You know, got my Carhartt hat and my boots.
You look good.
And,
Yep.
You look
selling
good.
propane. I freaking love that. That freaking Hank Hill rap. That shit gets me every time.
So yeah, so we'll have to do we'll have to think of something, some kind of giveaway. We'll do something with them. I got two larges. So if you
watch
wear a
our
large
channel.
or if you want to wear a large, we got you covered.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. You can have the shirts off our backs.
Ooh, well done, sir. So, new watch alerts. What do we got?
Well, okay, I'll go, I guess.
Go for it.
You got it.
I did not purchase this. This was given to me also by my girlfriend. This was a Valentine's Day present. This is, let me get the lighting right. This is a 1973 Bulova Jetstar
What?
B.
Damn. Gotcha.
But you will say, Mike, don't you already have a Bulova Jetstar B? Doesn't it look different than the one you're holding up right now? Well, in fact, yes, discerning listener, you would be correct. Well, this 1973 Bulova Jetstar B is not to be confused with the 1972 Bulova Jetstar B, which is otherwise known as the Stars and Stripes. So Bulova and all their infinite Bulvaness just decided to put the same name on a different model and hope that nobody noticed the difference.
Nobody would notice. Yep.
So, but this is cool. This is another in the Jetstar collection that I am amassing. That I never really did pull the trigger on it. There was a few of them out there. In fact, I know exactly which listing this was. But it's real nice. I mean, it looks like the original case brushing on here. The lines are nice and sharp. The silver dial, the Breguet numerals, stick hands. And what's even cool about it too is it's not the original strap that came on it, but it is a JB Champion strap. Very shiny alligator print JB Champion leather strap on here.
So Justin Bieber champion?
Yeah. Justin Bieber champion. But
yeah, exactly.
here's a little background behind that watch because I was involved directly.
So very much
okay,
Joe
good.
had a lot to do with this particular one.
So Mike's girlfriend reached out to me and she's like, "Hey, I want to get Mike a watch. Could you help me?" I'm like, "Absolutely." It's like, "What are you thinking of? What are you looking at?" And she sent me probably 6 or 7 different listings of different stuff on them, and there were 2 of those and some other things, and we talked it through. I'm like, okay, that one, go with that one because of da 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 da. And then I asked her, "It's like, where'd you come up with these? Where'd you find them? Did you hack Mike's account? What did you?" She's like, "No, I just picked them." I'm like, good God, great choices, because every single one of them would have been good, but that one was cherry. That was choice. So.
And I'll have to ask her because up to this point I hadn't, but I'm very curious to know what other choices she went to you with. So I have to ask her and see if she still has the pictures of the listings. I won't ask you for it. I won't do that to her. But
I will not betray this confidence.
Yeah, but so thank you because you played a big role in me getting this watch.
I'm here for you. All right, so KC, I know you don't have anything new. But where are you on the wait list? Have you jumped up? Have you been to another AD? Give us the Explorer beef.
All right. So everyone's like, "Oh, well, we don't really do wait lists." I really don't know. So the way I understand it is I'm on the radar. Let's just call it the radar for these ADs. And the way it works is, hey, look, we get a watch in, and if you've pestered us enough, or you're a nice enough customer where we remember you when it comes in, we'll call you. But what's annoying is there's no roster, there's no kind of order to it. And what I would like to see is maybe you go in and you say, hey, I'd like to put a deposit down on this watch, and that deposit secures you on a legitimate list. That as watches come in, people get bumped off fairly. That would kind of, add some visibility to the process. But
well,
Would
let
make
me
sense.
ask you, how many ADs have you been to?
Three that I'm kind of trying to foster this relationship with. And I guess my thought process is, again, if I'm air quotes likable enough, or they remember, hey, that one kid came in here all the time, he's super annoying about this freaking Explorer, maybe that'll work out for my favor.
So they've actually told you we don't do wait lists?
Yeah.
So
All three places don't do wait lists.
what you mean to tell me then is that everybody in the watch fam that ever has tried to buy a Rolex are a bunch of liars when they say that they had been on a wait list.
So
Is that what your ADs are calling us all liars?
So I don't really know, and this is why this whole thing is kind of interesting to try to understand, is there's all these rumors. And what I think has happened is Rolex cracked down on certain ADs that are doing these wait lists to now make it this cluster F that it is now.
It's not official policy.
Yes.
It might be an AD policy or a retailer policy, but it may not be official policy. That's an interesting thing, though,
So
because I don't see how you get any kind of equity. How do you know?
Right. You're pretty much, I'm just driving on blind faith here. But so this one guy I like a lot, I'm not going to name names or like retailers here, but his story to me is that they try to give 75% of the allocations to new customers. And he's like, normally we won't give a new customer something like a Daytona or a harder to get model, but things like No Date subs and Explorers, they would give to a new customer.
So what would be, I guess, what you would call the quote unquote less desirable stuff then?
Right.
Cellini,
Sure.
not OP.
The OPs. Well, the OPs are pretty popular, but they're
they're gone. They're not around either.
Yeah.
I think the production on those is probably a little bit higher because there's so many different variants. But I was talking with a guy on Instagram who just purchased the LE, the orange dial LE from an AD, and he's gonna let it go because his Rolex AD said, "Okay, we got an OP for you. Come on in." So he's got to fund.
Are you trying to schmooze 3 ADs, or are you just gonna romance one more than the other two?
No, I'm going to work all three, and I think that's completely fair on my part. If you're not going to put me on a express organized list, then why shouldn't the customer try to work different places?
Well, yeah, for sure. Why not?
More interestingly, could you sell your spot on said wait list?
Well, that's the thing, right? So they don't officially have the wait list, so I don't have
They don't have a wait list.
Yeah, I don't have a tangible thing to be like, hey, you want this?
Now serving number 12.
Right.
Yeah, can you imagine that though?
Right.
Say you were on a wait list for a steel Daytona, because those are on fire right now. Selling your spot in line. Oh my gosh, the controversy that would surround that would be fantastic.
How much money could you make off of it, though? Let's talk about that.
Well, you probably could. You really, if you think about it, you really could.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My faith in humanity would just absolutely shatter at that point. And be like, bro, you bought a spot in line. What is wrong with you, man? But I mean, people do that for different stuff.
Oh, for everything.
Well,
for everything.
People do that for cars, especially limited production cars. When they come out, they'll buy allotments, and then they'll sell their place in line or their allotment,
Sure.
for whatever particular model is coming out. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I always look forward to this update every episode because.
Well, before I pass it off, I do have to say I did almost buy a Rolex, and it was the Sky Dweller Domino's one. It was at the AD. I was like, holy shit.
Did you almost pull the trigger?
Air King, not a Sky Dweller.
Oh, right. Air King, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Air King.
what prevented you? What stopped you?
Well, one, it's not the Explorer, so I know that I would be upset down the road because I was impulsive, but the Domino's thing too, like it's hit or miss. You know, some people will like it, others won't. So, all right, cool. I just crapped $7,000 on a watch, and it's got this cheesy Domino's brick on the freaking bracelet. And I guess in a sense, you're flexing your wealth at that point. And I'm like, I don't really got it like that. So what am I flexing there?
And you know your pizza of choice too. So.
Oh, dude, I love Domino's. Domino's is the shit.
Let's not get into this conversation again.
But what about you, Joe? Other than your crappy.
All right, I got stuff. So first up is Caravel 666 Lollipop second hand with a nice red pip, really good aged loom. This is a dealer sample with, I mean, you can, like this, it's got all the stickers still on the back. It's a dealer sample and it doesn't have a movement. So I've got another movement. So this one's gonna, some assembly required.
Cool.
So I got that. And then I picked up another Caravel Sea Hunter with, you know, with the Explorer dial and the Alpha hands. That it's going to need some love. It doesn't quite work, but I got it for an absolute song. And the bezel was, the insert out of the bezel was gone. But I picked up a new old stock bezel for a different watch, and the old bezel goes right on it, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This one's going to take a little cleaning, and it'll be good to go. And then this was, I guess you could call it an impulse buy. Could we call it? We call it an impulse buy. Where
we'll call it a good decision, I think.
I wasn't drunk.
Nice.
So this is
not all good decisions are sober decisions.
This is true. This is true. So this is Bulova super compressor with the EPSA case.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
That I was watching it. I saw it coming up. It said it didn't run. Started off at like 99 cents. And it went up and up and up and up and up. And I put in a bid that's like, there's no way. There's no way I'm getting this. So, I put in what I thought was a fair number. And it showed I got it under that.
Was that a U.S. listing or did that come from overseas?
U.S. It was in Florida, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's an auction site or a retailer in Florida. It was moving on.
Is that a real compressor or is that a compressor style watch?
It's the EPSA case.
Yeah.
It is the legit EPSA case. You got all the markings on the back. They're really faded. I mean, this watch has had a life. The crystal is completely crazed. I've cleaned it up a little bit. I've got a new crystal coming in, and it runs and keeps time. But then as maybe something's wrong with the automatic winding because it'll stop on me. So I got to go have it serviced. It's got to get cleaned. And then I'm in pretty good shape.
I think it's pretty safe to say that the Bulova super compressor is the grail for a lot of people.
It's up there. It's up because EPSA licensed the cases, and so Longines had them. A couple others have got them, and they're real. It's an EPSA case. It's got a separate serial number on it. And Bulova had a version. They've got like two different dial configurations, but always with the syringe hands and sort of the Phil's second hand, sweep hand. They're real nice. This one's gonna clean up real good. I'm happy. I'm very happy with it.
Man, so I really love. Obviously, I love Caravel and Bulova, but I appreciate you guys specifically for having a passion for it. And I was speaking to a guy who made a comment. He's like, "Hey, yeah, the other guys you do the show with, I don't understand why they like Bulova and Caravel so much. They spend so much money on these watches when they could get XYZ luxury watch." And my response to that was, yeah, I mean, they probably could afford Tudor or whatever the fuck they wanted. Damn it, I gotta edit that out. But anyway, I was just like, well, so Bulova stands on its own. You can go and dive into this space, and there's no homages. Bulova makes its own thing. There's no You don't buy a Bulova like a compressor. That's its own thing. It's not a homage to anything else. It stands on its own merit. You know.
Well, it's like anything. You collect what you like, right? And for sure, if Joe and I were to sell our collections, we could afford something. We could afford that one real nice watch. But I get so much more enjoyment out of having so many different variations of so much great 70s design. I mean, I'm not saying Bulova was the best designer in the 70s, but they had some really cool stuff. And
Yeah.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of having, those different variations more than I would having just one watch.
It's a weird sort of niche space for me because I just fell into it, and then it's like, all right, cool, this I can stay in this lane. This will work for me, and then you start to look at what your options are, because you go in and you see some of these pieces, and so you've got all the Accutron stuff and the technology that's involved in that. You've got all the stuff from the 20s and everything that's involved in that. You've got the military history that goes in the 60s, and it just goes on and on and on. And they've got this depth that
And the space that you guys operate in, that is genuine American watchmaking.
for the most
Hmm.
part, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Swiss movements, but you can even
Right.
still get, it's an American company. You've got specific movements from Bulova up to like the caliber, starting with the 11 series before they started going strictly to EBO movements. But yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. It's a neat little space, and there's not a lot of other people in it. So there's availability. The prices
Yeah.
haven't gone through the roof.
Which is good or bad. I mean, we
Right.
have enough pieces where if they did go through the roof, we'd be in great shape.
Oh yeah.
But
Retire early.
at the same time, it still allows us to buy more. So
Yeah.
uh,
Saves
Well,
you
catch
some-
22.
So what's on your wrist, Mike?
So I'm wearing a Bulova. In fact, this is the Bulova surfboard. This is the 2020 surfboard. This is the reissue. This is the quartz model,
Mhm.
which a lot of people have issue with. I have no problem with it. I happen to like the quartz. It's a great grab and go. I don't have to worry about setting it. I don't have to worry about getting it serviced on any regular basis. Throw a battery in there, you're good to go.
Have you had to replace
But
the battery yet?
no, not yet. It's not that old.
Me
It's only
either.
a couple years old.
Me either. The dial is
Um,
so nice on that too.
The dial is so nice. So
It
this is
doesn't come
actually a
across in
sandwich
any of the
dial.
pictures.
No, it doesn't. I've tried a couple of pictures. It gets close to it. It's a watch that has to really be seen in person to truly enjoy what it is. So I have mine on a Stingray, blue Stingray strap. This was actually a gift I bought for myself for my 40th birthday back in 2020. I was supposed to go on a trip, which got canceled because of 2020. So I said, well, now I have all this extra money. What am I going to do with it? Now shows up this. So I wanted to have the case back engraved, but I never did get around to it yet. So one of these days I will, in commemoration for my 40th. Maybe when I celebrate my 50th, I'll have it engraved
Get
by
your
then. Who
case
knows?
back in great.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, that's the one. Whenever I get my lunar pilot back, whenever I send this Everest back, I'd love to trade out with you to go experience that surfboard. If you want to do,
Yeah. All right.
that'd be cool.
We'll put something together.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Fair.
So-
What's in the glass, man?
So I'm drinking Sam Adams. This is called Cold Snap. It's their new limited edition brew of choice, white ale.
Oh,
It's good. I tried it, enjoyed it, so I went and bought another 6-pack of it. But what I like about Sam Adams, they come out with a lot of different seasonal stuff.
they do.
So
They do.
it's something that I keep going back to. Their cherry wheat. I'm not sure when exactly they come out with that. That might be a summer blend, but their cherry wheat is really good too. But in usual spring bar fashion, yep, there we go. Who's next?
I have got on the Bulova 21 Jewel automatic. This is a 2004 watch. It's real simple. It's real clean. It's super legible. Got the red Sunday on it. Miyota automatic movement. Got it incredibly cheap. Just needed to have the mainspring replaced. Integrated bracelet. It's a really nice little piece. And I am drinking Student tears today.
Nice.
If they only knew that you were in class today, they would be crying, thinking they'd
They
have to be.
certainly would. They certainly would. Casey, what do you got?
So I've got my Speedmaster Reduced, my favorite Speedmaster, and I got it on a Blue Sharknado, and I'm drinking a freaking Diet Coke because, yeah.
So, Casey, I want to talk to you for a second though, because you had the Schumacher, right?
Yeah.
And that's more of a traditional Speedmaster in size and in kind of everything, except with the exception of the dial color, basically.
No, the Schumacher is exactly the same as this.
As the reduced?
Yeah, it's got the same movement. It's got
No
the
kidding.
same offset crown and pushers, same size. This is a different dial.
Interesting. And so, what's your attraction to the reduced over, say, the professional?
I like the size, and I really like the dial specifically because it's got those additional numerals on the outer track. It breaks it down from 60 seconds and runs all the way around. And because I'm slow, that helps me read.
I would think if I were to get one, I'd go reduced too, purely for the size. I think I would like that smaller size.
Me too. Actually, me
Yeah.
too. I would go the same route.
And it's actually thinner than the professional. People think it's thicker because it's got the piggyback movement.
Right.
And the servicing costs are a difference of maybe $100 to $200. So they
Oh, sure. Yeah, because it's a module, right?
right.
The automatic
So
module that's on.
people try to bash the reduced by saying, "Oh, it's thicker and it costs more to service," but that's really not true.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. I've been wondering about that because that would be my choice also. So
I like the Schumacher, but it was I ended up tying up, I want to say at $1,500 on a very colorful watch that I just didn't wear as much. So I was like, "You got to go."
wait, say it again.
Well, so it
No. Give us the German. Go on.
a Schumacher.
There it is.
Yeah, I noticed that
Right.
too when he first said it.
Schumacher.
Well, I mean, his name is literally Shoemaker. Like,
Yeah.
My high school German is nowhere close to yours, but even I got that part.
yeah. So, guys, what do we have on tap today?
So we've done 3 episodes of guest interviews,
Correct.
and all of them, each phenomenal in their own right. So we decided for this episode that we are going to introduce to you nobody. We don't have a guest today. We're gonna go back to our spring brewer roots and just have a little fun with the three of us.
You wouldn't
I
believe
propose.
the amount of refusals we've gotten from people to come on the show.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
propose.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thanks, dog. I'm gonna be a pass for me.
So I propose the topic of now, as watch collectors, it's inevitable. If it hasn't already happened to you, somebody's going to come up to you and say, "Hey, you know about watches. What should I buy?" This is how our first interview guest, JP, got his start with his concierge service. People started coming up to him, "What should I buy? You're the watch guy. Can you give me a recommendation?"
Oh, are
So-
we trying to undercut him?
Not trying to steal any thunder away from JP, but I thought if we had to help somebody get started in watches, what would we pick? So I said, let's do a 2-watch collection, a dress watch and a sport watch, because that fills pretty much the needs of what anybody's going to have to do with watches. Set a budget of $1,000 because that's pretty reasonable. Somebody starting in watches has $1,000 to spend. What would we recommend to them? Dress watch, sport watch. Let's see what we come up with.
So, what'd you come up with?
So we'll start with dress watches. I chose what I think is the epitome of a dress watch should be. Elegant, simple design, thin so that it fits under a shirt cuff, a bold statement, I went stainless steel. A lot of dress watches are two-tone. I'm not a big two-tone fan. I went stainless steel, black strap, black dial. I actually own an older version of this watch that I'm going to recommend. I'm talking about the Movado Museum.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
a phenomenal dress watch. I think the only complaint that anybody could really make is there's no markers, no numerals. It's just a blank dial. You have the museum dot at the 12 o'clock, which is supposed to represent the rising sun at noon. Other than that, it's pretty simple. A nice classic design, stainless steel.
I have a
Mine is a
question.
little different.
Hang on.
Huh?
I have a question. I have a
Okay.
question. When does the sun rise at noon?
Well, uh, okay, so maybe I misspoke, but it's representing the sun at the 12 o'clock
Okay.
hour.
Okay. Okay. That makes it a little more. Thank you. I'm not up on
But
Movado.
so it's rising to midday. Is that better? Is that a better description?
You're not
Whatever.
selling that very well at all.
Okay. In any case,
Is that
so
like
the
a
one that I'm
Garmin?
talking about is a newer version of mine. The reference 0607312 Movado Museum Classic is what they call it. Um, Swiss made. It is a quartz, which is fine because it's a two-hander. You can get them in automatic as well. I tried to find out exactly the caliber of the movement that's in there. The best I can come up with is it's an ETA. I couldn't come up with the actual caliber number. Black leather. Mine is a lizard grain. The ones that I'm seeing now are just a straight black leather, no real print to them. 40 millimeter, 7 millimeter thickness. So it's nice and thin, really. I wouldn't say thickness. Sapphire crystal, 20 millimeter lugs. Can't go wrong. You can find one on Amazon right now for $309.
Not bad.
So it's not bad.
Not
That's
bad.
great. I love wearing mine. I wear
It's a
mine when I
classic.
travel.
It's a
Yeah.
classic for a reason, though, and you've got a lot of variation on it as well. I mean, you can go with the color, like the black dial is going to be classic. Black dial, and you can get it with different metals as well. There's a ton of options.
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah,
solid choice, dude.
you
That's
can
a
get it
real
on
solid choice.
bracelet. They come on mesh, leather. They're different color dials. You can gold. Um, so yeah, depending on how you want to spec it out, I like the black and stainless. That's my personal preference.
Cool. Well, Casey, what's your choice?
My choice would be hopefully one day an actual Rolex Explorer, but for right now we got the stand-in. It's the Smiths Everest Deluxe, and the Deluxe specifically because it is gilt dial. And for me, just the printed aspect of the dial kind of makes it more dressy and less tool. For me, the modern Rolex has those applied markers. I guess for some that makes it more jewelry, but to me that makes it a little more form function. Dude, this watch is an amazing value proposition. And it, let's see here, for time factors, if you can get your hands on it during their freaking crazy sales, they only go up like one weekend a month, and then everyone just bum rushes their website. Um, but they sell for 325 pounds, which is $442.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, the finishing work is outstanding. You get a solid milled clasp, screw links. It's a great size. And to your point, Mike, it goes under the cuff very well. Uh,
So I'm gonna take a little issue with this one. So the Smiths Everest slash Rolex Explorer, both watches known for their expedition purposes, is what we're calling a dress watch.
well, James Bond wears two watches a day.
I I am not. I'm not. I don't have a quibble. I don't have a quibble with that as a dress watch. I think that it checks all of the boxes. There's no date. It's a clean dial. It looks good on leather. It looks good on the bracelet. It's thin enough. That doesn't. And okay, yeah, because you can go climb a mountain in it. Like, oh, you can go climb a mountain in the Movado.
Probably
No,
good.
Well, all right.
it's a
So,
dress watch.
so
You'd sweat until the
in the
leather.
event
Yeah.
in the event that when you get off of Everest, then you need to go present at the Smithsonian, you can do it in that watch.
Oh, okay,
Exactly.
we'll go with that. What movement is in that?
It's the one that moves the hands.
Oh,
Oh,
one of
I
those.
heard
I
about
heard
that
those
one.
are, yeah, those are workhorses.
Wow, that's
It's
really good.
where the hell is I actually have their website up right now. Oh, it's at Miyota 9039.
Okay.
So it'll be easy to service,
Yeah.
easy to find parts for.
Well,
Miyota's
so the
Japanese.
question is, would it be worth servicing, or would you just swap in a new movement at that point? What would be cheaper? It'd be cheaper probably to swap in a new one.
Could be.
Probably.
Could be. It's gonna be a question of, and it's a closed case back, right?
It is, yeah. So I don't think it's a branded movement. Or like they put on a special rotor or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, to keep that price point, I bet it's not. The finishing is going to be minimal, but
Yeah.
it's a workhorse movement. I mean, you really can't go wrong with the Miyota movements. You really can't.
And what did the Miyotas beat at? Are those 28,000?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Are they? Yeah. Those are nice. Just nice, smooth movements. I like them.
Yeah, I mean they run almost exactly the same rate as my Tudor or Omega do, so really not
All
missing
right.
out.
So we're looking at 28 on that versus the NH35 is 24.6 or 26.4, whatever rate it is.
Something like that.
But hey, so when you inevitably get so schmammered at your fancy event that you fall into whatever water feature they have, it's got a screw down crown. So that's
Oh, well,
See, look at that. Actual water resistance.
there you go.
practical.
Well, in fairness, the museum has got 30 meters of resistance.
So you can wash your hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joe,
Or you can spill your champagne on it.
You can spill your champagne on it.
Yeah.
My choice was different. I went with the Baltic Bicompax.
Ooh,
You've
the
got-
micro rotor one.
Yeah, you got some options.
Okay.
Not the micro rotor. That's
Not the micro rotor. That's a different one.
that's the small seconds. This is
Yeah,
this is
yeah, yeah, that's
the
what-
chronograph. And it's about $750. It's 648 euros. So depending upon your rate of exchange, and then other things that go with that. But you got stainless steel case, 38 millimeters, 47 lug to lug, 20 millimeter strap. It's only 12 millimeters thick, so it'll work. It's got a manual seagull movement, Hezolite glass, leaf hands, water resistant to 5 atmospheres, so you can wash your hands. Maybe don't use the chronograph while you do it. And you've got strap options, and it'll come on a beads of rice bracelet that's 72 more. And you got color choices as well. You got a salmon dial, you got a black dial. My preference would probably be the blue dial with the gold hands.
Really?
Yeah, but
Okay.
if this is for a friend, so
Yeah.
we'll see. The salmon is nice. The white is out of stock currently, but I think it's a nice package. It's a very classic design. It's a very simple design. It's a really elegant design.
It is, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It is a very classic design. I like that. That's a good choice. Well
really
done,
is.
Joe.
Yeah.
Thank
This might just be a self-conscious thing, but I don't like being overly fancy or overly dressed up because it kind of makes me feel like I'm pretending to be something I'm not. And so with this chronograph, it still has a tool aspect that kind of makes me feel a little confident that I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I don't know.
Well,
That's just-
I mean, when you're thinking about if it's going to be a 2-watch collection, it's like, okay, what kind of utility can you really get?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if it's going to be a strict dress watch, okay, that means you're going to have something else that you can do some other things in. But this one ticks a couple of boxes. It's right up there, kind of with that Everest. It's got some other feature to it. And for me, though, the bigger issue was just the design. I think it's a really pretty watch. I think it's a really well proportioned
The
watch.
hands are what do it for me on that.
Yeah, the leaf
Yeah.
hands are just
The
extraordinary.
leaf hands.
The finishing
you-
is supposed to be just phenomenal. It's not a bad choice, I think.
I'm reading the specs right now, and I don't know. If you mentioned it, I didn't hear it, but it's a Hesselite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like glass, high dome.
that's cool. Yeah.
It is. It is.
The polish out in your. Unlike that stupid Hardlex crap that Seiko does, where you can't polish it, that pisses me off.
So do you polish your Speedmaster, or do you leave the scratches in it?
I leave most of them in, but I've had to polish a couple out. Ones that are like when I freaking decided to ram it against a door. That one was pretty bad. So I actually had white paint on the crystals. I was like, that's gotta come
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on this super compressor, had the white paint on it. Somebody caught it in a door jam. It came
Yeah.
off, and the
Me,
crystal's polishing up a little bit.
personally, I can't stand scratches on crystals. If I get one on a acrylic crystal, it's got to come out right away.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Did you guys know that there's a little omega symbol on genuine omega crystals?
Right at the center.
Right at the center.
Yeah, I didn't know that the first time I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna take me forever to buff that bitch out.
So, true story, because I picked one up. Titus and Soville made a tuning fork watch, and they bought a whole bunch of old Omegas, movements, everything, and then they just threw their own dial on it. But you can still find some with the Omega hidden Omega on the crystal, if you look.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got one, but I can't see that on it, so it might not be worth as much as I want it to be.
Huh. I didn't know that with the crystals.
Yeah, they
That's
got
pretty
up. They picked up all the old stock when Omega just had to stop making like the
Well,
F300s.
I tell you what, you asked me just the other day if I wanted to take that one from you. If you find that Omega symbol, maybe I'll change my mind.
Oh, fair. All right.
All right. So
What is the sports watch that we got?
sports watches. So for my sports watch pick, I too went Baltic
Ooh.
because Baltic is killing it with their designs.
They are.
So I went with the Baltic Aquascaf. Okay, let that sink in for a minute. But not the Aquascaf you may be thinking. I went with the Aquascaf SB01, the steel bezel, the steel 12-hour bezel version.
Okay.
So if you want, I'll give you a second to pull that up on your screens. So this is the, like I said, Aquascaf steel bezel SB01. It has a 12-hour unidirectional steel bezel. This is 39 millimeter, 12 millimeter thick, 20 millimeter lugs. I spec'd this particular one with the Beads of Rice bracelet because it looks phenomenal.
So extra 70. Was it 72? 72
It's an
euro for that?
extra 80 euros. So whatever
Interesting.
the equivalent is. Yeah.
What's the lug?
20.
Huh.
This is
Uh,
the dual crown, right?
No, not the dual crown. It's the, what do they call it? I'm looking it up. It's the Aquascaf Classic.
Yeah.
So it's a black dial, white indices. The 369 is a sandwich. So you can call it a sandwich dial, I guess, but they're not all that way. It's just a 369. The triangle markers. It too uses the Miyota 9039, 42-hour power reserve, screw down crown, 200 meters, double dome sapphire, which is, if you don't like distortion, that's the way to go. I don't mind distortion on crystals, especially if they're domed. What else we got? Drilled lugs, which I thought was pretty cool. BGW9
That's a nice
loom.
touch. It helps.
Yeah. The looms, the BGW9, which will be, I believe that's the blue tint. Quick release solid end links, which I thought was pretty cool as well. Because if you ever tried to put a solid end link bracelet on, they're real hard to do. This has got quick release springs on there. And it's got a cool little scuba diver engraved on the case back. So I thought that was pretty neat too.
It's a really Baltic. They're doing really good stuff.
They're
man.
doing really good. So listen, all that's I was researching this watch, and the reason why I looked at Baltic for a sports watch is because JP has one. He has a different model. I believe this is the blue dial, which is fantastic looking too. So I gave him a look because they really have everything you could possibly want. Great sports piece. Go anywhere, do anything with it. After researching it, this may be the watch that I want to buy over a Doxa or a Zodiac.
Really?
Oh snap! Really?
Really?
Look at all the features you get. and it's priced far less than what the other two are.
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it in the slightest. I think
And
you
if
do well.
you look, we'll have the picture on here, but if you're not watching and you're listening, do yourself a favor, go on the Baltic website, look at it, the Aquascaf SB01. When you select the option for your straps, it pulls it up on a picture, beads of rice with the steel bezel and the black dial. It's gorgeous. I love the way this thing looks. Oh, and which I don't believe the other Aquascaf models have, is the Aquascaf on the dial is in red. So you get that little pop of color on the black dial. So this sells for, in that particular spec with the bracelet, 600 euros, which at today's exchange rate comes out to $679. So for my Movado and the Baltic, I'm at 988. So I'm just under budget.
Cutting it close, man.
But that's okay. I'm
Taxes.
under.
I'm under.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, what do you got? What's your
hold on.
What?
I'm jealous of my mythical friend because he's got two pretty cool watches. But seeing as I have a Movado, all I really need is the Baltic to complete the collection.
That and $679.
Well, that's here nor there. Whatever.
VAT.
No, we're the United States. We don't pay VAT.
Import taxes.
I've never had to pay import taxes.
Wealth
I'm
taxes.
telling.
What? Okay. All right. Anyways, that's my two watch collection. I think I did pretty good.
You did all right. What's your sport choice there, Casey?
Well, so yeah, Mike did a pretty good job coming under budget and all. I came in at $732 for my collection as a whole because my sports watch costs $290 right now on Amazon, and it is a Seiko SSC 675 P1, and it's the Save the Oceans solar chronograph dive watch.
Oh,
nice.
I really like this watch. And I mean, it's huge. It's a little big for me. I think it's like 43 or something like that. But yeah, it's really good. It's a genuine Seiko because the bezel is slightly misaligned.
well, the bezel or the chapter ring? It's the chapter rings that are always misaligned, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're both questionable. I mean, I guess if you were to bump your chapter ring in, that'd be good too. But I would like to get a better bezel. I don't think the bezel is as good as. But hey, you're paying $290 for it, But it's cool because you got really killer Seiko lume. This thing glows like a torch, like any Seiko does. It's solar, so battery changes are really just not there. You don't have to worry about that. Chronograph function and the dive function as well. And it times 24 hours, whereas my Speedmaster will only measure 12.
Yeah.
So this thing's
it's a great movement. It's a real solid watch. The price point is killer. If you don't like it, you can mod it.
Yeah. And if you want to get one cheaper than $290, hit me up because this one's for sale.
He's trying to bump himself up on the AD list.
Give me that reference number again.
It is SSC 675 P1.
I'm trying to find it on here.
Pretty much just a Seiko Save the Ocean.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good watch, and I probably would regret parting with it, but I've got to move like a bazillion watches right now.
So the chronograph pushers are knurled. Are those screw down?
Yeah. Yeah, this thing's got, I think, 200 meters water resistance.
It's going to be the Save the Ocean. Yeah, it's going to be screwed down. Absolutely.
What? Not. This is 200-meter water resistance, and these are not screw down pushers.
Yeah, but that's quartz.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm not knocking it. I got one.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you get, Mike, when you go buy Bulova, but we're talking about a genuinely good watch brand here.
I mean, why do I collect Bulova anyways?
Yeah, Bulova
Well,
sucks.
apparently he's going to start collecting Baltic now. So
Hey, yeah. Hey, when you get that Baltic, you want to let me borrow it, and I'll let
there
you.
we go. There it is. Yeah, you can. As soon as you get your Rolex, we can swap.
Yeah, we'll trade.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, I've all
Yes, and impress us with what you got.
Impress you? All right.
Yeah. How much was the Baltic again? What did you pay for
Baltic was coming in like 720.
that? Okay.
Okay.
All right. It doesn't
Ready?
leave you much room.
I'm solid. You ready?
Okay.
You're not ready.
I'm ready.
You're not ready.
Let us have it.
Casio
Oh.
GMAS 2100-7A. It is the ladies' version of the Casio. It is a 43 millimeter case, as opposed to the men's version, which is 48. It's 51 grams, mineral glass, shock resistant, 200 meters water resistant. Case bezel material is carbon resin. It's got a resin band. It's got a double LED light, and it costs from Casio $99. And
$99.
that is a solid choice. It is a great little package. You got color options, red, white, black, and pink. You've got a ton of different choices. I like the pink personally because I am confident in my maleness and I can wear pink and I rock it on a regular basis. That watch with multifunction.
Like, there's two different pinks here.
So I'm not a Casio fan. I'll say that right off the bat. But
I'm not buying this watch for you, Sparky.
no. I'm not talking about me. But I cannot deny the fact that Casios make phenomenal sport watches, really, for what they are.
It's a G-Shock. You're
And
not
at
going
the
to
price point, you can't go wrong.
No.
This one's sweet, and I've been thinking about it because I do like having analog for when I'm in uniform, but the backup with the digital, so that my
Right.
brain.
You got both. You got both on there.
Yeah.
And like as soon as we've been talking about the military pieces with UKC, and we've been talking about you've got your preference for digital because you want the precision. But for me personally, as a watch wearer, I want the analog for knowing how much time is left, to be able to coordinate. It's like, okay, I got 15 minutes. I know when that is. I don't have to do the math. It's visual. And I think that it's going to combine the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I'm sold. I'm probably going to pick one up.
Yeah, this thing's pretty sweet. We're going to go ahead and call last call here. Does anyone have anything to discuss?
So, yeah, I've got something. Joe,
Yes.
we may be able to help some people, those that like to collect Bulovas, identify the Bulova models that they have.
That's right. We have access to the Bulova line book. So that is apparently, through a little bit of deciphering on Mike and my part, having gone through it, it's a deep book, man. There's a lot of stuff. And it seems to be a breakdown of the full line of Bulova offerings by year. However, because it's Bulova, the case back may not necessarily match with the year because pre-production or whatever.
Oodles and oodles of information from 1955 to 1977. Covers all those years. Information galore. But, like you said, makes zero sense.
No sense whatsoever. So, case in point, Mike's showing off his what? Your B.
My
Right.
73B.
Which is not the same as the 72B. Same designation, completely different watch. Because, Bulova.
So that's what's interesting is some of these books are divided seasonally. So you'll have a spring of year whatever and a fall of year whatever,
An
and
addendum.
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of stuff to sort through.
Does it cover Caravel by chance?
Yep.
ABC,
Got
Accutron,
it.
Bulova, and
It's all there.
Caravel.
Because
all
I've
there.
got
It's-
that 24-hour dial thing that I would love to know more about because I've never seen another one, and I don't.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
You happen to know a couple of guys that can help you out with that.
Yeah, there you go. I gotta find an effing stem for that. That is kicking my butt.
We can probably make that happen.
Well, we also have access to the parts books for those too.
Oh, there we go.
So we're becoming the source of information for anything ABC, Accutron, Bulova,
Not
and
quite a
Caravel.
one-stop shop, but
Not quite, but pretty darn close. About as close as you're going to get in the world of Bulova and the strangeness that is. Out of respect of where we have this information, where it came from, we're not necessarily going to be distributing all this stuff, but we will be more than happy if you want to send us a line, email it to us, the Springbar podcast at gmail.com, or you can DM us from our account. Be more than happy, or even from our personal accounts or whatever. We'll be more than happy to try and help you out. Some of them give you model names. Some of them are only part numbers. There's a lot of descriptions and things like that. We can at least help point you in the right direction of what it is that you're looking at, or
it'll
if
give
you
you an
want to
idea
know
of what the bracelet's really supposed to be.
I was just
That's
going to
nice.
say that the bracelets or the straps, it shows all the stuff right from the factory.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to find that original bracelet or strap to go with what you have, will he be 100% successful? No, probably not. But
No way.
would get pretty damn close to it.
Well,
So-
we can go with what's in print.
Yeah. So I'm excited that we have this available to us. A phenomenal resource to have, especially if you're into Bulvas, or even if you're not, and you're finding an heirloom piece, or you're going through drawers or something, you come across something. I mean, we're talking all ABC, Accutron, Bulova, Caravels, the ladies models, the divers, the sport models, the stuff that you've probably never seen before, chronographs. I mean, it's got it all.
It's all there. It's all
Yeah.
there.
We still need to go do that episode where we kind of do a little bit of like a dummy's guide to the history behind the brand. That would be cool because I
Yeah.
think the ABC realm is kind of why this podcast kind of started. So it'd be cool.
It really is. That's what brought us all together.
It
Is
Maybe Joe handles history of Bulova chronographs, or Mike does divers. I could do military ones. Break it down like that. I don't
That'd
know.
be cool. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do something like that for sure. And I know there's a couple of people who have requested that we do a all Bulova show. So we'll have to do that. But now that we have this extra resource, it's going to take some sorting through, and even for a brand that we know a fair amount about, we're still going to have to do some research on it because there's a lot of
Ton of information.
unknown history too. So
So,
we'll work on putting something together for sure. May not be in the near future, but definitely coming up. So if you're an avid Spring Bar listener,
all four of you.
yeah, stay tuned. It'll happen.
Casey,
Well, that's
you
what
got a
I've
last
got.
call?
Yeah. Anybody else got something?
Yeah, dude, I actually do, and I'm kind of fired up about it. So I've got these TMs, training manuals. Some of them are FMs, field manuals. This one's for a law, which is a light anti-tank weapon, the rocket launcher. And this one's 1982. This is a weapon system we don't use anymore. Maybe the Marines still use it because funding
Marines.
issues and whatnot. But I love these old training manuals because they actually took the time to illustrate it. And
Oh, look at that.
modern TMs are so eye-wateringly boring. This makes me at least want to learn whatever you're babbling about. This one's
What's the
fun.
cat gonna say next?
That's a very early 80s illustration right there.
Yeah, this one actually I think 70s. 73. This one's on
Okay.
land, so that's dope. But the other thing is this shit.
Ooh,
Ooh, look at that.
think is I'm not going to name any names or any potential conflicts that might be brewing, but it's very weird that
Very topical.
when my dad was a lieutenant,
So
his
hold on,
main
not
concern-
to cut you off, but for those that are listening, not watching, what do you got there?
Oh, snap. Yeah. This is the operations and equipment of the Soviet Army. And it kind of breaks down what assets the Soviets had. And then really it was your job as a lieutenant or really just soldier to memorize what the opposition's equipment was so that if you came across it, you know how to counter it. Joe, you got anything?
There's not a whole lot going on out here. There's meetups that are going to be happening, and so anybody that wants to advertise those, please give us a shout out. And so why don't we figure out, Mike, how can they reach us?
So we are the Spring Bar Podcast. You can reach us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can send us an email to springbarpodcast@gmail.com. On a personal level, I am 120 clicks, all spelled out, one word, 120 clicks. Joe?
Watch Taylor Youth on Instagram, and you can do all sorts of communication with us through hashtagging with the Spring Bar Podcast. We'd love to see your watch shots, love to see your drink shots, and be on the lookout for our offset t-shirt contest coming soon for you. KC, how can they find you?
I am time_hack1636 on Instagram and on YouTube. I am time hack. I've somehow got 20 followers on there, subscribers. So thank you guys. That's cool. I hope you guys enjoy those little Spring Bar shorts I've been putting out.
They are really good, man. You're putting in a lot of good work on that. Your editing skills are definitely coming up. I appreciate it. I really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we get some good feedback on those too.
We do.
Through the show's page.
Guys, thanks for joining us. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Cheers.